Okay, let us start with today's session. Today's session is about to learn about sending mail, and usually when we think about mail, it's just we enter some text in the text box and give a subject line and then the email ID, and then we just press the send button, and then we just forget about it. So let us look at how do we make it work programmatically in Python. In order to do that, we need to understand what is mail. That means how this mail service is provided by various service providers such as Gmail, Yahoo, Rediff, and such companies. Okay, so let us understand how they send and receive the mails, and then what are the protocols involved, and we'll also look at standard format. The reason that we need to know all these things is because our when we open gmail.com, all these things such as sending, receiving, and the protocols and the formats, all things are predefined, and in order to send in a programmatical way, we need to know its internals a little bit, not too much. So in order to do that, we'll learn about um, how do we send the mail. Okay, um, so let us look at the protocol. So we are discussing about mail service today. We have finished reports, we have finished news, we have finished collected data, and only thing is sending mail here. Okay, so this send mail is what we are discussing today. All right, so let us look at what are the internals of sending mail. Okay, so as you see this slide, you can let me get into drawing mode so that I can write on this. Let me choose a red color, choose a pen. All right, so at this point that the PC here we are looking, so here is where the sender is sitting and user is sitting somewhere else on the other side of the world, and then we need to send the mail from here to here. Okay, so in the olden days, we used to write write letter, and then that letter would be sent to nearest given to a postman or a post box, and then postman would collect it, and then go to his office, and then he will deposit in certain box there. So each of the boxes say that where this has to go, such as for example, it has to go to out of state. He will keep everything in an out of state box. If it is internal to his district, he would have the little boxes containing what are the districts, and then he will place that inside those boxes. Then another postman would come, so he will pick that up and take it. If it is out of states, of course he won't take it and start distributing to home. He will take that and put it into the courier. So that courier guy will uh, put that into a bus. So say if you want to send a letter to Andhra Pradesh or Kerala, so he'll put that courier box or courier bag into those states buses, and then from there the bus would carry till that district headquarters or wherever the post box is there, and from there that guy who is another postman who is residing in that particular state, so he will take that and he will do the same process. He will take to that particular district maybe, and then from there another guy will pick up, and then he will give it to that particular village, and then he knows the village, that postman who is coming in the cycle. So who used to come in the cycle, that days are gone now. So he will take that and deliver it to the person who is sitting there. So this is exactly the process wise, it's exactly the same, but here there are no people involved. So what is happening here, you are writing a mail. Let me just take another color. here you're writing a mail, okay, and then mail you need to deposit to post box. That post box is nothing but when you click send button, it will go to a post box here. This is our first post box, that is a nearest server. And then from that server there will be programs running inside these servers that would trigger something like it is going from a state bus. Say a state bus is destined to Andhra Pradesh or Kerala, so it will take that and it will go through the routes. It will go to, maybe it will comes across Tamil Nadu or whatever the state is, it doesn't matter. So here it is all traveling and comes to Andhra Pradesh, uh, that particular district. Okay, from that district there is another program which okay, this user in fact um, he will check whether he has got any mails. Okay, so he will go to this server and automatically pick this mail. Okay, so the traditional mail service and this mail service is almost same. So only here that we have the programs which are doing the job. Okay, so that is why we once you send the mail we receive it very quickly, because there is no manual or traveling involved. So it just goes in a whatever this internet speed is there. Okay, so that is how the mails work. And now coming to the protocols, I'll just erase this. Okay, so then why do we need protocols? The reason that we need protocols is because there are several email services such as Gmail, Rediff, Yahoo, and Outlook, and so many other things. So in order to send a mail, in the initial days there used to be American Online Mail Service, if you remember, AOL.com. So that particular service did not have a certain protocol, or it had a protocol which was its own. So if you have your own protocol as a company or a mail service, what happens is you won't be able to read the mail that is coming from another email box, because you won't know how to open that, or you won't even recognize the format of that particular mail. Okay, so it's like you're sending a letter which is addressed in say a local language Kannada here, and you're writing that address in Kannada, and you're sending to say Uttar Pradesh. So Uttar Pradesh people don't know Kannada, and they won't understand Kannada, and that mail would be just dropped if there is no reverse address. Okay, so it won't even go out of the that particular post box. Maybe the postman inside Karnataka, that guy will rewrite the address. So that is different, but so it's like that. So you won't be able to read the headers at all. So that is the necessity of having a protocol. So protocol means the mail format should be defined, and this is defined via some standards. So these standards are called as RFCs, request for comments. So let us not get into that, but those protocols are written in a RFC text, and then a lot of people discuss, like researchers, industry experts, and all of these people come together, and then they discuss how should we support multiple email service providers, and how do we make sure that the mail sent from one service provider is automatically supported by another mail service provider. So such protocol is one of such protocol is called as SMTP. So that is what here we are seeing. Okay, SMTP. SMTP stands for something like a simple mail transfer protocol. Okay, so you just remember it as mail protocol. Okay, mail protocol. Okay, so when we send a mail, so in fact, you can go to your mail settings such as Gmail, and if you go to settings, you will have options to set some things in the SMTP option. Okay, so there are some things, but default it has certain attributes already set. Okay, so you can check that offline. So this transport part is taken care by SMTP. Okay, so this it's like a courier service. Okay, and then it dumps it into a nearest mail server, and then from there, in order to access mail, there is another protocol. This is for receiver side, this is for sender side. So at the sender side we have SMTP protocol, and at the receiver side we have certain protocols. So there are two popular protocols such as POP 3, that is the 3 is the version. POP is a protocol, and then there is also IMAP. Okay, so this is just for our awareness. Okay, awareness, that is because now we are only sending mail, we are not receiving mail. Okay, when we are sending mail, we do not have to worry about POP or IMAP. But when you want to write a program to receive something, then you need to know about these things. So this is as we know that we are jumping into each module and learning as required, and then we are implementing that, implementing just not to reinvent the wheel. We will take that part as a library, we understand that particular library, and then set things which are required for this guy, that is SMTP, and then it will help to send the mail. Okay, so that is about how the mail is sent. All right, so let us look at the how does the protocol work. Okay, this SMTP here is a sample. At if you want to forget about the GUI or Gmail that you are using, or any mail service. Okay, how does a simple protocol work? So here there is one sender S, and there are two receivers. Okay, two receivers are this is taken from Wikipedia, you can read that. Okay, Alice and the boss. Okay, so there are two receivers here, and then there is one sender whose name is called as Bob. Let me put another color for sender so that we have context. Okay, Bob is sending mail to Alice and then the boss. Okay, so what is happening here? Let us look at the entire text. So traditionally, if you do not have any mailbox, you just need to know the SMTP server and manually log in to that particular server from your local PC, then maybe SSH or whatever it is, Telnet or whatever it is. So once you log into that, this is the server side. So that is called as S here. Okay, you enter and server says, okay, this is the port, and this is his some domain name, forget about it. So this is the protocol service. So once you enter, you'll get this message, and the client says hello relay.example. Okay, this says okay, good. Okay, then server says okay, I'm glad to meet you. That means now we are establishing a connection. Okay, this is connection establishment. Okay. Okay, connection establishment. Most of the protocols have two-way protocols such as TCP and other protocols have something to handshake. That means you say hi and another person says hi, that is both of them are in sync. But in TCP there is three-way handshake, but let us not discuss. But the idea is, whenever there is a protocol, there are two persons involved, and then there is sender and there is receiver. In order to make that the sender is ready and client is also ready, we do something called as connection establishment. Okay, so it is just like putting a pipe to for communication purpose. So this is connection establishment state, and then this part is where we are sending the data. Okay, so before sending the data we need to say, so I am the mail is from Bob, that is me who has logged in. So and receipts, okay, and server keeps saying okay, I got it, and the client says receipt to Alice. Okay, client says server says okay, I got it, and then the command is still waiting, and it says receipt also to the boss dot example. Server says okay, and then now I'm going to send the data. That means whatever I type it, from here on, that would be data. Okay, so client server says okay, send the data. And how should server know that the data is ending? Because you keep on typing and server won't know. When to stop? Okay, so all server says that okay, this is some kind of code, and then since you are doing that ham coding and things like that, you might be already knowing that there are some codes and things like that. So it says okay, this code and end with this. It's like something like if you are sending a message, a telegram message, so it was something like, so this means stop. So for example, okay, that means you do anything, this is a data, this sound is data, and then you have to tell the other person to stop it. So it would be like something like, so after this he knows that okay, that is the end of the data. Since we are not talking in sitting in front of each other, we won't know when the data is ending. So that is the marker to tell that the data is ending. Okay, so server says okay, this is my you tell this to end the data. Okay, then the next part is where the data is being typed. Okay, so it's and we say that okay, so these are just tags. So this is actually part of data from Bob to Alice and CC to the boss, and all this are part of data actually. And then data is this, he types all these things, and then this is the actual message, which is from the protocol point of view, this is all data. And then here you can see that we have pressed dot, that means we have pressed control left, not control, sorry, carriage written, and line fit, that means enter, your enter key would is actually this. Okay, so this is present here, and there is dot here, and again there is a enter mark. Okay, that means server knows that okay, this is now the end of the data. So that is why server says okay, now there is end of data, it is the end of data. Now let us get back to the protocol. Okay, so now protocol is nothing but okay, server says okay, I have got it, I have got the data, don't worry about it. Now sender's job is to just to queue it into the server. So it returns a queue, it says okay, and it says okay, you have got a queue. Okay, it's like you are getting a courier receipt, you sent a courier, but it is just queued. That means at the courier service it is still sitting, and you need some kind of receipt, that means in order to tell you that okay, the courier guy tells that okay, I have got your courier, so this is your receipt. So that is nothing but the queue number or whatever. Okay, and then the sender, that is the client, says quit means okay, I'm getting out of, now I have sent the mail, okay, done. Then that server says okay, bye, that's all. Okay, now we do not have any kind of acknowledgement, that means whether the mail is sent actually to user. Okay, now we are just relying on the entire process that is on the server. The server now knows, okay, the entire process takes a couple of seconds. So this entire process, actually you can there are interfaces. You can download SMTP initialize the server and do all these things if you are really interested. But from the mail point of view, that is when you open Gmail or any mail, all these things happen automatically. So there is already server open, and you keep on typing it, and then you click send. All these things happen in a blink of eye. Okay, so this is what a protocol consists of. It is a step by step process, just like our programming. And then there is a connection establishment here, and then here at the end we are also saying connection ending. So this is nothing but connection release. Okay, or you can use other words as well: connection release and connection establishment. So now we have cut the pipe, that communication pipe. So because we have already sent the data, so this is the background about the mail service. This just imagine the postman who is coming in cycle, then everything will be set in your mind. Okay, so this is how it works in the background. All right, so let us get back to the code now, since now we have learned how these things work. And here we have looked at only the sending part, because we are not worried about receiving, because we are not writing code to receive mail. Okay, we are not worried about that. Okay, we are if in case if there is a feature to read the mail, then you might have to write code and understand how the pop or IMAP works, and then initialize that particular protocol and then use it. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this drawing mode. Delete. Okay, so escape. Okay, now I hope it was understood. If there is any question, please ask. Let us get into code. Okay, so now let us come to the send mail. Okay, send mail. So let us try to map what we have learned so far and then to the code. Now we are trying to transform our ideas onto the code. Okay, so what was the protocol that we are using here? SMTP. So in order to do that, we come here. So this I took it from Gigs for Gigs. Okay, and there are a lot of materials about how about the mail formats, internet exchange formats, those things. Okay, so read it later, but let's get into code quickly. We have initialized SMTP library, which takes care of initializing or contacting that SMTP server. In here, it's Gmail. Okay, and also I have created a temporary mailbox with this password. Okay, you can use this as well. And then we need to learn about a little bit about. We have studied about the protocol. Now we will learn a little bit about MIME, or it is called as some mail exchange. Okay, let us go there. I think I have it open. Not here, not here. So let's learn a little bit about MIME types. And the reason that we need to learn about this is our mail contains multiple parts, and these multiple parts we need to embed into the mail and then send it. So in order to send it, we need to learn about MIME. Okay, so MIME is another standard. Say if you do not send in a certain this format, some mail services will detect that as a spam, or maybe it will reject it. Okay, so MIME is just you can multi-purpose internet mail extensions. Okay, MIME types. The reason is that you can send attachments such as Excel sheets, such as video or whatever it is. Okay, so it needs to be recognized by mail servers, and some mail providers also provide something to say, for example, if you have a Gmail, and if you click on say Excel sheet that is forwarded to you, and then the mailbox automatically opens it, or at least gives a preview of that particular attachment. So to in order to recognize that it is a certain attachment, what type of attachment it is, so we need to know about the MIME tips. That is why we are learning. Okay, so this is a structure of MIME. So type and subtype. Okay, so you can read this later. So you can send audio, images, text, and we can also send. Now we need multi-part types, because we are sending um, multiple different things, that is text, and also we are sending a Excel sheet. Okay, so let us look at that. So you can just read about this later, but I hope you got the idea. It's just a standard, so that the mailboxes know that what kind of data you're sending. Okay, so and the related to that, we are importing those libraries. Okay, so in fact you can simply copy code and write it and finish it off. The reason that we are going in depth is because we have to learn how to go in depth for a particular project, and then learn everything about it, so that you know what is happening. And if say, there is some problem, say for example, your SMTP returns you are sending a wrong email ID, and SMTP says, okay, I do not know what is this. So you should know how to handle the errors. That is why we need to know about each module a little bit. Okay, so we are not actually writing a protocol for SMTP, so we just need to know. Okay, so I have written a function called as send mail already, and let us see go through the code, and let us see what is happening. Okay, so yesterday we saw that we are sending a receiver email ID, that is the person who has subscribed, and then there is a subject line, and there is a mail text which we combined from the JSON data, that is API, and also the news part. Okay, and then there is an attachment, the Excel sheet attachment. All right, so you need to, obviously when you log into a server, you need a username and password. That is why it is set. Okay, so I'm just initializing some of the variables here. This is actually an object to, in order to tell that this is a multi-part MIME. Okay, so mail exchange. Okay, so this is all this dictionary. You can simply initialize an object, and inside that you are just populating the variables. Okay, simple. It's very easy and easy to understand. And then you also have body, and then you just attach to that particular message, the body of the message. Okay, this is not the attachment that we are sending. It is the body of the this one, that is the news part and other things. Okay, so we had to change this. Okay, we'll change that. Okay, and then we have a file name. We'll change this as well. Okay, and then come here. Okay, we have an object. So the reason that we are doing octet stream is because the protocol. Okay, you can send application, and also you can tell what type of attachment it is. You can replace this by something like a document. Something like text plain, or application slash MS Excel as well. Okay, so there are several ways to attach. This is about picture and this is about audio and things like that. Okay, so at for us it is just an octet stream. So that by doing this, what we do is, as we discussed, like Gmail can just give you a preview or can open an Excel sheet if it is in an attachment. So now I need to stop that. I don't want that to open it. So if I send it as octet stream, it won't recognize what type of the attachment it is. Okay, so this is how I'm just masking it here. Okay, so in order to open that, you can change this as well. Okay, set attachment read. Okay, this is all the, I'm creating object and then I'm just setting the payload. Okay, so all these are you just need to you don't have to write it line by line. You just pick it up and understand what it is. Okay, and then there is encoding. This is a common encoding in order to send mail. We take say if the for example, here we are sending a binary data, that is Excel sheet is a actually we cannot simply open it and read it as a text. We need a program to open it, such as MS Excel. So we need to encode everything that we are sending as a ASCII value or ASCII string. So that is what it is doing. Okay, so this is about the standard, so don't worry about it. Okay, and then here is where we are interested, that whatever we learned here, I am telling what port I need to send, because every protocol has a port, and then you need to tell what is the domain name, that is something like this. Okay, so when you log in, this is the port number here in this example 220, and then smtp.example.com is a URL to log into that. Okay, so that is what you are trying to open a connection. Okay, so automatically it will do all these things. Okay, so now you have established a connection, or you can also call it a session. Okay, and then there is TLS is nothing but transport layer security. So whenever you do this, internally the mail that is sent from that server to the till the another server, it will send in an encrypted way. So if you do not use this, it will be a plain text, and anybody who has access to that network, so he can simply read it and read your data. Okay, so TLS is nothing but transport layer security. This is just for encryption. Okay, and then this is authentication part. So you need to give your username and password, and then everything. This is a function which converts the whole message into a text, and then here we are sending the mail. Okay, and then we are terminating the connection. Okay, so it is basically what we're doing here. Automatically all the steps here we are doing it in a maybe 2-3 lines of code. Okay, so we have opened a connection. Okay, this is again for our security purpose, a TLS, and then the login, and then we are just simply sending everything, all these things. The data is sent as a string, and then we trigger send mail. There is a function called as send mail in that SMTP, and then we establish we cut the connection. So that is nothing but quit. That quit is nothing but here quit. Okay, so this part is where we are actually sending creating a connection and sending a mail. So in order to do that, we need to do all of this. We need to prepare that what kind of data and what is what does the message contain and all these things. Okay, so in fact you can see that for us, when we open a mailbox, even the header it looks like the two and subject line and from all this looks like headers, but they're actually part of message. Okay, so that is what we are doing here. So it's actually a small function. It is separated by comments and open lines, so that is why it looks a little bit big, but it is only a few lines of code. Okay, so this is what is the steps that we need to follow in order to send a mail. So once you understand this, it is easy to do this. Okay, So in fact, you can simply copy paste it and then walk along, and somewhere on the line, if there is any problem, it's difficult to debug it. So in order to know that, you need to know this. So that is how we need to build anything that we want to build, transform your thoughts into program. Okay, so we need to know that. Okay, now let us get back to the reports part, where we are sending a mail. Okay, so yesterday we did this part is nothing but we are mapping the subscribers data, and then we have prepared the entire mail content. Okay, so this is all this is the mail content, and this is a file name. Okay, so yesterday we were trying to write this. The send mail will contain the mail ID of a recipient, that is in our case it's a subscriber's mail, and then subject line is defined here. Okay, and then mail text we have formed from news as well as the this state report, and then this is a file we have generated. All right, so it takes this. All right, it takes this here as an argument, and then it sends a mail. So we need to set some things here. So just to make sure that it works, let us try to trigger a mail. Okay. So we have collected API data, and this is the mailbox or the recipient email ID, and this is what he's interested in. And now the program is collecting news, and he's doing scraping, and this is the news content. Okay, now I think it should be sent. Let us look at my email box. So this was the mail that I had sent a couple of. Okay, now there is a new message from this. Okay, so you can see that it's 9:14. So it's 9:14 here. We just received a mail. Okay. So we need to modify. This is just for sample, and we can even see that this is our file. Okay, so we will send the actual content. This is just to verify whether our mail thing works. Okay, now let us plug in these things to our mailbox. Okay, where is that send mail? Okay, send mail. What is the receiver email ID? Receiver email ID is plugged in. Okay, good. Subject line is not plugged in anywhere. So let us look at the subject line. Let us remove this. So this particular program is taken from Gigs for Geeks. So the link is given. You can study there. And okay, let me modify this here. Subject line. I'll give a subject line here, and then I need to know the mail. Body of mail is mail text. Good. And then there is attachment. Where is the attachment? File name. So what was the name? Attachment is the name. Okay. Okay, so now I have plugged in all these things. Now let us run it again and see if I'm receiving the mail as expected. All right. Okay, now the program has finished its execution. Let me check the mailbox now. Yes, I've got a mail. So now it is 9:16. Now it's 9:17. Okay. So this is the recent this one. So we didn't have the subject line. Now we have a subject line: COVID updates, statewide stats. So in Karnataka, we can of course we can beautify it using HTML tags. So this is the headlines. Okay, what is the headlines today? So it should be we should be able to click on this link. Let us look at the news. Good. So that link is working, and which means our program is working. So these are actual headlines and actual today's news. These are today's news. That is in the main page of Deccan Herald. And then we have just put automated mail service. Okay. So now, in fact, Google has found out the extension by its extension. Okay. So now also we're able to send the Excel sheet, and now I'm able to see the this one. So Lakshadweep is 0, and then good, and then what is Karnataka? Let us see that. As I'm looking at it as a user. Where is Karnataka? Again, Karnataka is I think it is topping up 47,000 today. All right, so this is how we do. We successfully completed our mini project, and you can. I will post this code in the GitHub, and we can look at it, and then you can modify it. So now we have our goal that was here, requirement. Let us go back to the requirement. Okay, project requirements. Let us look at let me get into drawing mode. Okay, so our project requirements are: imagine you're running a web service. Okay, and the web service focuses on collecting COVID-19 data in India and sends statewide results to user who is interested to know about his or her states. Okay, so collect data from web API. Okay, good. Registered user shall get email every day. For this, we need to do something else. We need to plug in our script to shell script. So that is where the new features will come in, and let us see how the new features fit in to our existing project. Okay, this we will do. This part, mail everyday part, we will do. Okay, we will learn about that because we need a server to constantly wake up and send a mail. But so this we need to do, and contain the following information. So email text containing his or interested states. Yes, we saw that I was interested in Karnataka, and I got text saying that how many people are active cases are there in Karnataka. Okay, this is done. Subject line is done. Yes, and Excel sheet attachment containing the report for enter country state-wise. This is done. News from top news sites in Times of India. This also we did for Deccan Herald. But anyways, the idea is the same thing. So you can just collect, since we have a lot of data, you can just take only top 10 or top 2-3 news headlines from each news, and then just put it there. So but our requirement is complete, and this additional requirement we need to learn about web service. This is not doable in a couple of days, because I need more time to how to get a web service up. Okay, we need some frameworks such as Django, Flask, or something like that. But our basic requirements that we had discussed initially, that is actually complete. Okay, now we have completed this. Okay, now let us look at in the coming sessions. That is I think there are 3 sessions remaining. So let us put this is not the end of the project. Actually, this is a mini project. The requirement is complete. Then there are also different problems. For example, so this is about scraping okay, mail. Okay, today we discuss about this. Now let us look at what are the problems. Okay, so first problem is, if there is a new feature, how do you put without breaking the existing feature? For example, tomorrow we'll be discussing about how do you make this command line as a command line application. For example, um, uh, user or you don't need to send a mail. He or that particular service also can be run as a um, simply a simply without attachments. So but you don't need to change the entire program. We just need to set some options on the command line, and then it will automatically do that. And then maybe instead of getting all the states in an excel sheet, I want only top 10 states. So such things can be controlled at a command line level. This is one of the features. Then we'll also look at how do we test it, because we have learned about unit testing, exceptions handling, and logging on these things. And in the last session, we'll look at a new feature requirement. The new feature requirement is, as suggested by Naveen. So maybe we'll collect some data, and then we want to also put a graph in our email. So how do we do that? Okay, so maybe we'll not complete this new requirement. We can take that as an assignment and do it offline. But we will make sure that at least the interfaces are defined and we do not break existing feature. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to do a little bit more of testing, and how do we do the testing, and how do we make sure that things are not breaking. Okay, so that is about the next steps. Okay, so this is not the end of the project means there is one is requirement, finishing requirements, and then also we need to make sure that the product is stable and it is manageable. And there are a lot of other things such as scalability, security, and all these things. We will not look at those things because it's a vast concept, but at least for this particular mini project, we will handle it in a way that, okay, we it is in a such a uh, state that we can easily insert features without breaking any existing features. Okay, so that is our end goal. So that is about today's session, sending mail. And as we see that we are jumping into each of the modules, and we are jumping deep, and then we are learning about it, whatever is required. We are not reinventing the wheel. We just pick up whatever is required, and we are trying to stitch things together and make this work. All right, so that is exactly how the software industry works, and how we should work, so that we don't spend a lot of time in reinventing the wheel. But in order to understand that, we need to jump a little bit deeper, look at various things. It's just like you're going for a trip or a trekking. You don't plan to stay on the top of hill for the rest of your life. You just go there and learn about it, meet people, and learn about maybe that particular geography, language, and people, and come back. Okay, so your total trip is ended. You have an experience, but you don't stay there. For example, you don't stay here in mail service and you learn about everything there unless you have a specific reason to do. All right, so that is how we are learning, and we learned how to jump into things and get things. Okay, is there any questions related to this as a project, or this mail service, or any of these concepts? Please ask.
This was very good.
Okay, thanks. So let us
Yeah, I
end this.
had this
Okay.
question. So
Uh-huh.
about you were telling about scheduling this, sending that
Right.
mail every day.
Right.
So I was thinking, I was about to ask that question. How do we schedule that? So is there something within Python? Usually, what we do is on the server we tend to schedule it on a cron job as a
Right.
cron job,
Right.
right?
Right.
But in Python, do we have something like a built-in function or something which directly we can pass this and try to run that out?
Right. Yeah. Of course, the best way to do this is actually using cron jobs. That is because that particular system or the server has a control at operating system level. But there is a way to. Of course, there's a way in any language. So idea is you write a program and put a while loop. an infinite while loop and make it sleep for say 24 hours, and then wake up, and again it goes back to the while loop and it sleeps for 24 hours. Okay, that is how you
Uh,
can do that. So yeah, without using cron jobs. Yes,
or even we can just consider that every new day. So whenever this date changes, so we can just
yes, yes,
trigger.
yes.
Okay.
That is also possible. Yes, but yeah, there you have a bug. For example, if someone changes the system date,
Correct.
then you'll have to. I mean, if I change system date twice a day, then you'll be
Hmm.
sending two mails.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and also this time sync will be happening from a network point of view. If that, for example, our mobiles, if you just remember, when we had mobiles like 1100 and those flipping phones, we had to set times actually.
Correct.
So initially, but now you don't have to set the time. So how
Yeah,
the
it's
time
not.
gets sync up is via some protocol. It's called as a network timing protocol. So there all the devices on connected to the internet, yeah, they can use that service, and then they automatically set the time. So in this case there is no problem, but if there is say time zone change or something like that, so it should not be buggy. So that is, yes, you can do that. That's a nice idea. It's a good brainstorming idea, but these are the problems that it can run into.
Okay. I see. All right. Okay, so would we be learning something in the next sessions about this, plotting using this matplot or?
Yes, yes, yes. I will show you how to plot a graph, uh,
Okay,
but I'll leave that exercise for you to do. I'll write the program and upload it later, but we won't be finishing it in the same session. That is because the idea is to learn how to insert a feature without breaking things. So we will do the feature. We'll do the like POC, and then we'll try to hook it up, and yeah, we'll learn about plotting. It's actually quite simple, but we'll do
okay,
that. Yeah.
cool. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Digant. Yeah.